So here's the general procedure how you create a sketch. You don't have to exactly follow this procedure. There's no like a rule you have to follow this, but I think it's easier if you follow this kind of sequence. So first you obviously have to create a sketch. I'm just using a front plane, but you can use any plane. So creating a sketch, and you start adding sketch entities. So let's say just sketching a simple geometry like a triangle. So when you create a shape, you don't really focus on the size of the shape. You just make the shape. You don't have to be like precise what the length of that is. You just make the shape first. Okay, that's the first step. And then the second step is you want to add any geometric constraints. So in this case, I have a triangle, but I don't want any random triangle. I want that, let's say, equilateral triangle. So maybe this one, I want to make it horizontal. And special triangle, like these two lengths should be the same. I select both of them together with the control key and equal. So I have this triangle. Okay, so I have this regular triangle with a particular shape. Okay, with the geometry constraint. I have to show the constraints. So go to show and hide and select this button here, and you can show the constraints. And the third step is now you have the regular shape you want. Now I need to specify the size. So that's where you want to use this smart dimension. So let's say I want to add the base length to be 100 millimeters. And maybe you could add an angle here to be 60 degrees. Okay. If you try to add any more dimensions, it gives an error because it's over defining. We have this baseline, we have an angle, we know that these two lengths are same, then you don't need to add any more dimension here. Okay, so to cancel it, that's all I want. Now the shape is defined and also the size is defined. The last step, what you need to do, is a lot of students missing, is that you have to have some kind of relationship between your sketch and the sketch origin. Okay, so the sketch origin is here and your shape is there. It's kind of floating around. It can be anywhere. So you want to anchor this shape to the origin point. So you can move this corner point to the origin and make them coincident. And then as soon as you do it, all sketch colors turn to black. And now I have this fully defined, okay? Sketch is now fully defined. I want to delete this. I can use different way. Maybe this is a triangle and it's symmetric left and right. Maybe it's better to put my origin in the middle of this baseline. So I can select the origin point with the control key pressed, select the baseline, and under the add relation, I have midpoint. So again, the same thing. The only difference is that now this triangle is in the middle of the coordinate system, so that it kept symmetric left and right. Okay, but anyway, the the sketch is fully defined because the colors are black, and you see that full defined. Okay, if I delete this again and color turn to blue, and it says the underdefined. Okay, so another cue is that on your sketch feature tree, if I exit from this feature, the sketch feature has a minus sign inside parenthesis, so that means the sketch is not fully defined yet. Okay, so if you see this negative sign on the sketch, you have to edit and do more, like adding more constraints or adding more dimensions, and make sure that your sketch is anchored at the origin point. So I'm going to put this back again, midpoint, and then it's fully defined. if I exit from the sketch, now the sketch doesn't have the negative sign. All right, so this is how you can finish your sketch. Whenever you have this negative sign on the sketch name, you're not done yet. You have to edit and add more geometry constraints or dimensions or anchor to the origin point. A lot of people do is you start from the origin point and start drawing sketch, and then you don't have to worry about this anchoring of this sketch at the end. Okay, so already when you started from the origin point, these two lines are already black. That means they are already constrained, and this whole sketch is anchored there. The only need is just adding more dimensions and geometric constraints. You don't have to like snap it back again to this origin point. Okay, but you have to be careful where you start.